Good morning. So I had an issue with my molding, trim molding on my Prius here. It's actually my wife's Prius, and the molding is actually missing for a couple of years. And I decided we were going to put a roof rack on this thing, so probably wouldn't matter, but I thought it might be best to have the molding back on there. Anyhow, um, I guess what I'm finding out, or what I found out, is that there's really nothing out there on replacing this molding. I couldn't find anything. And there was quite a few people that had the same question, how do you replace this molding? And there was one comment that I found on a forum that mentioned that on the manual, or in the manual, I guess the dealership, what they would do is they would glue the clips into place, and that seemed to be the only option. But when I looked at the car initially, I'm going to show you right here. Hopefully you can see this. Let me grab my... If you look here, you can see that little clip right there. I thought initially that it was metal and that it was actually welded into the body of the vehicle, but what I found out is that it's actually not. It was actually put on the vehicle and then they just painted over it. Well, here's a new clip that I installed already, and I just wanted to show you guys how to to deal with this, since like I mentioned, I couldn't find anything on it. So, and I'll put a in the description, I'll put down the part numbers. This is for an 012, but I know it's the same, I believe, on a lot of different vehicles, but I think it's the same for the RAV, and anyhow, a lot of different vehicles with this type of clip here that they have here. So, so I'm going to walk you guys through it on what I'm going to do, and we'll go from there. So these are the tools that you're going to need. Basically, excuse me, start this over. These are the tools that you're going to need. All I have here is a really small flathead screwdriver. Could probably use something a little bigger, doesn't matter. And you're going to need an X-Acto blade. And the reason why is I'll show you guys when I go to do it, but you're going to use this to basically score the paint around the old clip. And now this is going to be strictly up to you guys, but I'm using shoe goo. The reason why I'm using shoe goo, I've heard a lot of people were using, like silicone and things like that, but I had a project that I was working on in the past, and I was at a local hardware store, and the guy, he was pretty knowledgeable, and I was trying to basically glue some ceramic tiles to some wood. And I thought, originally I was going to be looking for some type of wood, metal adhesive or whatever. But anyhow, the guy at the hardware store told me to try shoe goo. That I guess he had a customer, and I forgot what it was. I think it was a bowling ball or something crazy like that, and they were trying to glue it to something. They had tried, everything that they could think of, JB Weld or whatever. Nothing held except for the shoe glue. So that's what I'm going to be using. But, use what you want. I'm not taking any responsibility of, whatever silicone you guys use. But anyhow, this is my choice, shoe goo. Okay. Okay, so I got my X-Acto blade here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to score very carefully around the edge of the clip here. And this is just so if, it didn't happen on the front, but it could possibly take some of the paint with it when you get it off. So I thought it'd probably be a good idea to score this old clip out, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to take the blade and do a nice little cut around the edges. And okay, so I can't really get inside of here. Well, I guess I could if I extend this blade out a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and try to score in here if I can. All right, so I've got that pretty scored now. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my little screwdriver and see if I can't just kind of pry this out. And there it goes. It's starting to give now. Yeah, and you'll notice that when I get this off of here, that like I mentioned, I didn't realize that I'd initially thought that the clips, the new clips that I got, that they snapped onto here somehow, but they don't. They're basically, all right. So, okay, so I got the clip itself off, but you can see the little, it's got like little padding that didn't come off with it, so I'm going to get that out. Okay. Try to get as much of it off as I can. And yeah. Okay, so it looks like I got most of it off there. Yeah, and as you can see, it was actually glued to the bare metal, and then they just painted over it at the factory. Kind of interesting that they did that. But okay, so that's done. I'm just going to clean it off a little bit here. Actually, let me get this little bit off here. Okay, that's pretty flat. I'm just kind of running the screwdriver over it to make sure that I got a nice flat surface when I put the new clip on. Okay, that looks pretty good, pretty decent. Let me get this off of there. All right, okay, not perfect. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I've got my trusty yellow brush. I think I got this at, I think it was Harbor Freight, maybe even been a dollar store. Anyhow, I'm just going to use this to kind of clean this channel out, get all the loose, rough stuff out. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to use some isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to use this on just a napkin that I have here. I'm just going to put a dab of it on, put some on the paper towel here. And I'm going to go ahead and just clean the surface off real quick. And this will just get any like residue or whatever off. So I'm just doing this to make sure that I have a good, nice contact surface area when I re-glue the, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. And yeah, okay, that looks good. All right, let me get the new clip. Okay, here's the new clip. Nothing special about it, but if you'll notice, it's pretty similar to the old one, just not painted. So, okay. Anyhow, according to the dealer, anytime you take that molding off, they recommend replacing it. And it makes sense. And I think that there was a known issue. Actually, I know there was a TSB that they put out. I think it was on the Tacomas that they were having molding issues. But like I mentioned, we went through a car wash, and I don't know if it was the wind. I think it was the pressure of the the dryers that they have, you know, when you're exiting the car wash. I think that's what blew it off. But in my opinion, you know, that really shouldn't have done that. So, and based on the amount of people that I've heard out there having issues with the molding coming off, I don't think that this was like a fluke thing. So anyhow, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get the shoe glue here. Just going to put a little bit on the bottom. A nice little gob of it. Nothing too crazy. Put the cap back on. And all right, now we're just going to get this thing on here. And there's no left or right. It's the same front to back, back to front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it pretty much back in the same place that the old one is. So I'm just going to press down on it pretty firmly. And I forget what the set time is on the shoe glue, but it's kind of forgiving. The one downside to using the shoe glue, like I mentioned, there's probably other stuff out there that's probably even better, but one of the disadvantages of the shoe glue is that it has to cure for, they say, at 24 hours, and I probably would go with that recommendation. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. Just kind of making sure it looks lined up pretty well. It looks pretty good. Okay, then we're done with this part. So at this point, all we need to do is wait for the clip to cure, and then we'll install the molding. That should go pretty smoothly. All right, I'll be back. Probably in a couple of days or tomorrow, because I gotta wait for this to dry. All right, see you then. Okay, as far as you know, it's the next day. It is the next day. So I've got the clips installed, and I've checked them. They're very solid. Don't think they're going anywhere. And they're pretty part of the body now. I think, as a matter of fact, they're probably going to be difficult to get off, which that's okay, the age of the vehicle. Anyhow, so now I was going to put the molding on, and I thought that I would show you guys. I mean, you might be thinking, oh, well, it's a piece of molding. How hard can that be? But what I noticed, and I wasn't able to find any of this information online, but just from my observation, that there is a way to tell the front from the back. If you look on the molding, actually there's a couple of ways, but this is one. If you look on the molding, let me see if you can see that. Let me see, maybe. Okay, yeah, you can kind of see it there. If you see it, there's a little, let me get that in the light. There's a little tab, like right there. Yeah, that little tab, actually, that fits into a slot on the bracket. Let me get the bracket. I'll show you the bracket. If you look in the bracket, there's actually, there's a little slot for that. So the other way you can tell, in case you're wondering, is if you look, actually, I do have one installed on the car. So let me walk you over to the other side real quick. I don't need to show you my dirty garage. Okay, so if you look, it's kind of hard to tell here, but you'll see that there is an actual, there is a flare, and the larger portion of the flare is going away from the vehicle. So obviously on that side, you want to do the same. Let me take you back over here. Okay, so basically, yeah, if you look on here, you'll see that it is kind of flared. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know. Let me take a look here. Yeah, you probably can't see it. The lighting is not that great in here. I do have lights, but didn't want to go through all the hassle for this little video. Anyhow, the larger portion of the flare goes towards the outside of the vehicle. And like I mentioned, there are those little slots that are there to put inside of the clip. So I'm going to start from the front. Be right back. Okay, so here we go. All right, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we got that clip in the right spot, and theoretically it should just snap in, hopefully. And it did, just like that. Okay, and I'm just going to feed it. Let me turn you guys around this way. Get you coming out this way. Let me see how we're looking over there. Okay, yeah, we can see it's kind of dark, but I'll hopefully you guys can see this. So what I'm doing is I'm just feeding it, starting from the front. I'm just kind of pushing as I go here with my thumb, as you can see, or not see because of the lighting. Actually pointing, probably would have been better to have the camera. Okay, so now the back, it doesn't have the slots, so theoretically it should just snap in, and it did. All right, so okay, so yeah, everything looks pretty good here. It looks good. I think we're okay, and there's no movement to speak of, so I think that's in. So that's about it. So anyhow, well, hope you guys enjoyed that short video there, and yeah, basically, I guess that's it. If you got any questions, let me know. I will put the part numbers for the, I believe it's a 2010 up to 2016 Prius, but I'm pretty sure that when I did look up these part numbers that they are compatible with other vehicles, which tells me these clips and this method of installing the new clips is probably the same on many different vehicles. All right, catch you later, bye.